Well, I thought it might be interesting to start the week off with knapping a odd-shaped Spall. It's got a few issues in it. There's a big crack here I see. I don't know how far it goes in. And of course it's got this big lump here. But I'll see how far I can get with it. It might break up the first hit, but we'll see. The weather's kind of cold today, but it should warm back up tomorrow. Should be able to do more videos tomorrow. So the easiest thing would be just to remove the thick spot first, little by little, just in case there is a big crack in there that goes all the way through. Try it little by little, that way it reduces the shock. And I can use some of these flakes in the future. Yeah, it does look like high quality stuff. It's Georgetown. Some Georgetown needs to be heat treated, but I think this is fine just the way it is. Feels pretty good. Of course, the angle's not that great, so I'm getting a lot of crushing, and there's incipient cracks in here, so it's breaking up in a weird way. That's the best platform right there. Yeah, that's a weird, I think that was an existing crack line there. There's still a little bit, I can see a little crack right there. See what happens when I hit it again. I'm going to put this back in here and hit it again. Yeah, that worked fairly well. Fairly well. There it is. I kind of heard a little bit of a weird sound, so I just tapped on it a little bit, and sure enough, there's a, I didn't notice that earlier, but there is a strike right there. It's got a copper deposit on it. I don't have a copper tool that would do that. This is not one of my spalls. This is one of the spalls I got from the Knapping. Yeah, there's an incipient bulb right there. I didn't notice that at first. I just noticed this up here. Yeah, that's what that is. That's a strike with a copper bopper or something. Could have probably started out that way by just tapping on it and see if that crack would open up. So now it's pretty straightforward. It does sound okay. It doesn't really have a ring to it until it gets long and thin. In many cases, if it still has cortex and stuff, it doesn't ring. But that might, I don't know, the fact that it's not ringing might tell me there's another crack in there, but we'll see. Yeah, high quality stuff. You're able to do that with high quality stuff. You don't need a really substantial platform. So what do I talk about in this video? What do I talk about? Do I explain everything? Do I fully explain everything? No, I'm not going to fully explain everything in this video. I'm gonna focus on getting this thin down without too much explanation. Just be aware that my technique is a little bit expedient, and that's an understatement, right? For those of you who have been watching for a while, you know that I'm very expedient. Okay. I've been looking at the camera settings and stuff, trying to figure out the new camera phone camera. Phone camera. Yeah. I found out that my volume did change. My volume did change when I zoomed in previously. But now the volume is not going to change when I zoom in. The volume increased on the zoom, so I got rid of that feature. So now the volume should be steady. It's not steady when I hit and try to talk at the same time. I noticed I have that issue again. Without an external microphone, the phone's microphone will adjust for the sound of the hits, and if I'm talking while I'm hitting, my talking becomes lower in volume. Yeah. So I was watching videos just now, how-to videos, and what how-to videos are very popular. So the ones I was watching just now were drawing videos. Yeah, drawing videos are very popular, but it depends on what you draw. It seems like the most popular ones are anime and cartoon characters, which is not something that I usually draw, because I'm thinking of doing more drawing on my channel. You know, those lecture type videos, but with more drawing involved. But I've noticed that, you know, academic topics and obscure topics don't do very well as far as people who like to watch drawing videos. But I'm going to try it out anyway. I'm going to try it out. Yeah, I can use those little flakes eventually, one of these days. Yep. Sometimes I'll throw that in a box and sell a bunch of flakes. But I try not to sell flakes because then I get rid of my best material when I do that. I don't want to sell the little wonky flakes, so I end up selling my best material. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to do too much of that selling of flakes. I do want to do more drawings though, both because it's easier to actually accomplish, especially if I'm working in a very confined space, and I actually like drawing. Yeah, I've had to relearn it, freehand drawing, because I haven't been doing much of it for years. I've neglected that. I did, you know, technical drawings and drafting and that kind of stuff. A lot of that was, well, 99% of it was on computer, with computer-aided drafting, but I did do some hand drawings and hand sketches every once in a while. But I'd like to do more of it. And if it's a good video content, I'd like to do it on video. Seems like there is an audience for the drawings. So that's what I was looking into today. There is an audience for the stone tool woodworking. I just have not been able to get that done. I had to practice a lot for that. The stone tools are a whole different ball game than modern tools. Yeah, this is high quality stuff. Very, very high quality. Georgetown Flint. Anyway, I want to do stone tool woodworking and drawing, more of those lecture series or lectures. I want to do series of lectures on different topics. So that's what I'm thinking I'll be doing on my channel in the future. It's so nice to work with a high quality material with direct percussion. So nice. Okay, flatten those ends. Much better. I like it when there's a smooth slide on this stage because it doesn't pull on the biface nearly as much, and I can release some nice flakes without worrying too much about breakage. It still has a chance to break it in half. It still has a chance to break the whole thing in half, but it's not as great if it slides more easily. Yeah, I hit that too hard. Yep. I dug out way too much and I cracked a little bit of it. I normally try to do this with indirect percussion, but I'm doing it with a billet for the video. Some of you guys are extremely good at the billet work. I do want to get better with my billet work. Yeah. Only way to do that is to keep practicing. Just like anything else. Ouch, I should have done that earlier. I don't dare hit the base right now. I do need to thin it though. With a smooth face on here, it doesn't grab it as much, so it's a little bit dicey, but it's safer when my billet slides instead of catches. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. All right. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. There's a lot of inward force on these strikes. To try to get the flake to travel. Now this edge is kind of wonky. See that? It goes down right here. In the old days, they would just leave that wonkiness in some of the blades and just thin it from here. See how thin it can get with direct percussion? In the old days, they would just leave it warped like this and just thin the edge. I'm going to try to clean this up. Yeah, this is as far as I want to take it with direct percussion. Let's see. Let's see, this is about 63 millimeter by 11, 12, 5 to 1. About 5 to 1. Some of you guys can get it down to 8 to 1 with a billet. Yeah, if I had specialized billets instead of one that's very versatile, instead of just one, I think I could get it down to 6 to 1 pretty easily. To get it down to 8 to 1, it's kind of tricky. Yeah. Why is it tricky? Well, for me, I remove too much of the edge. I don't know how you guys get it that thin without removing a lot of the edge. I don't like having the edge. I don't like having the edge blown away. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to get long flakes with thin edges. The only way I can get long flakes with thin edges is with indirect percussion. And damage control is much less dicey, less risky with indirect percussion. But this one wasn't too bad. That flake was nice because it cleared up a lot of stuff. I don't know, did that get it thinner? Let's see. It's about 62. And 10 millimeter. So 6 to 1 now. So that did get it down to 6 to 1. But I have to be using, well, it seems like I have to be using extremely high quality material. If this was some of that really rough stuff that I was using in previous videos, there's no way I could have cleaned it up like that easy with this strike. It would have probably stepped, and I would have a series of steps. Yeah, direct percussion is just too dicey. I don't know. It does help that it's a smooth slide, so I'm not too worried about it. But all it takes is a little mishap and to get a big old step fracture, and then I can't proceed because it's too thin. I can't do any damage control because it's way too thin. See how much of the edge it removes? I mean, I don't know how you guys avoid that. If you do avoid it. I've seen other guys knap really thin bifaces with boppers. But they usually start with a big old piece and then it ends up being pretty small. In comparison to the piece that they start with. These flakes get all turned around. There we go. That was kind of good. Yeah, but I still have a big lump there. Yeah, the next stage is indirect percussion. Okay. So next stage is indirect percussion. I got my aluminum indirect percussion tool out. I had cut some of this off to make another tool, but I'm still going to try to use this behind my knee. Still going to try to hold it behind my knee. Let's see. I can usually do it with something 6 inches or longer. This is right at 6 inches, and the diameter is 3/4. It's hard to grip onto it because I need at least, let's see, what is it, 3 inches sticking out right there? Yeah, I need at least 3, and I'm going to hit it about right there. But aluminum works well on thin pieces because it doesn't smash the edge as much. This edge is already quite thin. Yeah. Steel would be dicey on this, but I've used steel quite a bit. I think I'm going to use more aluminum. Switch back over to aluminum. Yeah. That's another thing I'm going to work on. Should have mentioned I'm going to be switching over to aluminum again for indirect percussion. I was using it the other day. I think it was Sunday or Monday. I was using the indirect percussion, this indirect percussion tool, and I like the result on heat treat. It looks like it's also working very well on the Georgetown. Yeah, I tend to forget these things if I'm not knapping with the material for a while. I hadn't knapped using aluminum for indirect percussion for a while, so I kind of forget what it's like. It's like antler, but much better because it doesn't break. The tip doesn't break. With antler, I get a lot of breakage. Yeah, the tips of the antler break. Even with heat treat, especially if it's a light heat treatment, you know what I mean? There's a spectrum of the results from heat treating. They don't always get glass-like. Some of them just get barely nappable. Some of them, the rocks, they start out really, really bad, and then when you heat treat them, they're just so-so. They're kind of good. Or you can have a rock that's like mid-grade and you heat treat it just a little bit, not too much, which means not too much higher than 400 degrees, and for not too long, like no more than 2 hours in the heat. And you can get what they call a light heat treat, which makes it just slightly better to nap without making it so brittle that it tends to snap easy. So you get a light heat treat, and that often is really good. And then that stuff will nap well with antler. The danger with heat treat, especially with large blades, with antler, is that the antler grabs and pulls, and that will snap your piece. You'll have nice, beautiful edges, but you'll have two pieces when it snaps in half. Unless you make it thick. Make the biface thick. Okay, I'm getting to the stage where I'm getting diminishing returns from shaping it with the abrader only. I'm getting to the point where I actually need to get the pressure flaker out and get these edges a little bit better looking for indirect percussion strikes. They just need to be, the edges need to be at a better angle. Pressure flaking is a lot more precise than the abrader. The abrader can be used like a hammerstone to modify the edge, but it's not that great. Pressure flaker can be a lot more precise. Yeah, the object here at this stage is to not get any step fractures, while at the same time running long flakes across the face of a thin biface. If I want to get this thinner, they've got to be long flakes without step fractures from edges that are already thin. So, you know, this is kind of like the finishing stage of the biface. It's got to be very precise. I say kind of like the finishing stage, because it's hard to define these stages. It's just a matter of personal judgment and what you're trying to make. Some point styles require a very specific preform. This is not one of them. I'm just going to go with the flow on this one and make a blade. Yeah, they run really well with aluminum, these percussion flakes. It's not the same story with a low quality stone though. Low quality stone, you're always going to run into problems. This high quality stuff is always nice, but it can be a mixed bag. It may have tough areas, or it may just be a little bit too snappy. It may just tend to snap on you. This material doesn't seem to be snappy, but I'm not taking any chances. I'm not really getting adventurous with it. I'm playing it kind of safe. Kind of safe because I'm running out of this size of Georgetown. All I got is nasty nodules of this good quality stuff. Stuff that no one else wants to work. Yeah, they didn't travel quite as far as I wanted. Let's see if that one did it. Nope. I wanted to get past that island. It's a little bit darker right there, which is kind of a giveaway that it's a different consistency. But it's still not bad. I do need to run a flake into that area. So since it's not symmetrical, if I make it symmetrical here, it'll give me a way in. I'll show you. If I just take back the edge. I am using the abrader like a hammerstone. See, I just took back the edge. It looks a little bit more symmetrical. That gives me two opportunities. This one here, which is not so good, but this one here is better. I do need to clear out some of that junk, but I might not be able to. But this allows me a little bit of opportunity right there. And maybe one right here. Yeah, this one right here is good. I don't have to hit it down here, although I do need to thin it a little bit right there. This one looks pretty good. It's a little bit too lumpy though right now. I've got to remove these bumps. I'll show you. So without taking off too much of the edge, you can see I removed those bumps and made the edge more clean. Now I just got to remove the delicate areas. Try to run a flake into there, clean that up. Still dicey though. Let's see. Where did my percussion flaker go? Okay. I got to clean that up, grind that down. See how pitted it is? Yeah, the more damaged and pitted it is, the more unpredictable the flakes are. You increase the predictability by maintaining a very smooth surface on your flaker. Okay. Very, very hard hit. And I did not think about that too much. If I start thinking about it too much, I wouldn't have hit it that hard. But my subconscious knew that I had to hit that pretty hard. So I had to bite the bullet and take the chance. Now I got some mass in the middle I can remove. It's a good strategy to remove it while you still have a good opportunity, but I don't know if I want to remove the mass just yet, because I still have to work on the base here a little bit. I'd like to have that mass in the middle, just for strength. I'd like to take a flake here. Why did I wait? Well, I shouldn't have waited. I should have taken that one first before that one, but I just got anxious. This one did give me a clear ridge here, though, so that's one thing. There's that. Yeah, I mean, it ran like it should have. It just couldn't overcome that little mass right there, so it stepped right in front. That's okay. It's not a big step fracture. I could also attack this mass from this direction, which might be a better idea than from this direction. Although I don't know. It's hard to judge. They're both going to be the same length of flake. Just leave both opportunities open. I think this edge is a little bit better because I need to lower it anyway to get this a little bit straighter. You know, see, after I do the strikes into here, this edge is going to drop that way. Right now, I'm going to fix it, and it still will be favoring this side. It'll still be below center line, but I need to fix it a little bit here. There's a lump here, and a lump here. There's lumps on the edge that I don't want. I want a smooth edge. See how it's smoother? I'm going to brush this way first, because that causes convexity, and then brush it the other way, because that causes smoothness this way. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I still have some work to do down here. Just a little bit. Just little bitty flakes. But it's better to do this with indirect percussion than pressure, because I can send these flakes in so much further. Much further with percussion than I can with the pressure flaker. Without straining myself. I can do this with pressure, but it's a lot of strain. I can't run those that long with pressure flaker. Okay, I cleaned up the base a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to run one more ridge here. So nice to have good material. Actually, this side doesn't look too bad for running a flake. I need to run it on both sides. But this one here, this one dips down right before it gets to the lump. But this one is more convex on this side. This might even be better on this side. It's about equal as far as opportunities go. There's a step fracture here, so I can't hit there, but maybe I can hit here and remove some of that. But there's lumps on this edge. Need to take those down. I probably should just go with telling you guys that the edge needs to be about a 70-degree angle to the center line. You know, you imagine a center line through here, and this angle is going to be about 70, I don't know, 60 to 70 degrees right there. It's the same with pressure flaking. It's the same angles with slight variation depending on the material. I should say materials, plural. The material of your tool tip and the material of your workpiece. It does vary. The angle there does vary with the materials, both in terms of the material of the workpiece and the material of your tools. And typically, the softer your tool is, the sharper the edge needs to be. Yeah, it does actually need to be sharper, because if it's too rounded with a soft tool, it's just going to bounce off. It needs to at least grab a little bit. With a harder tool, it's got to be steeper and duller, because a hard tool will just crush a delicate edge. It won't grab it. It just crushes right through. There's no grabbing with a hard tool tip. Well, not much. There is some, but not much. And the angles will change, you know. But it's going to be about 60 to 70 degrees, somewhere in that range. Sometimes 5 degrees can make all the difference. So just got to get used to the angles over time. Sometimes I can make it work even though the angle's not that great. Sometimes I get lucky, sometimes I don't. Good stone helps a lot. Let's see. Yeah. Good stone helps a lot, although I didn't clean it up as well as I thought that would. Yeah, neither did that one, and it caused a little step in there. That's not good. And this is not convex enough. See how it, if I hit this platform here, the surface dips down just slightly, so it's not really that great. So I gotta change this platform up a little bit before I take a strike into this area. Could hit that one into there. That one's further away than this one. I like to try to get closer if I can. The closer the better. Even if it's just like a few millimeters closer, it's better than nothing. It could make all the difference. Like right here, 1 more or 2 more millimeters right there would blow away that ridge there. So if this was like 1 or 2 millimeters closer to that obstacle, it would have blown through. So that's what I mean by that. That's what I mean when I say that. Okay. And I'm using copper because that was the first thing. That's the closest tool I have. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter with this type of pressure flaking. Just short flakes. You can make short flakes with anything. Might as well clean up the edge here while I'm here. Saves a little bit of time. Yeah, clean up the edge a little bit. I'll get that later. Right now I have to get this contour smoother in front of the platform. Or behind the platform, however you want to call it. I need to get this surface more convex right here. It looks good. Although I did raise the edge that way, it's better in terms of convexity on the surface here for that strike. But I'm thinking about it too much, so it may not go. That was one of the hardest hits of the whole process. You can tell that's a very hard hit by all that shatter. And now I can come in this way. Get rid of that little area right there. Easy peasy. And get rid of this lump right there. Turn this around on a smooth spot so I'm not hitting with a dimpled surface. See how that fanned out? I think that's how it went. No. Nice and smooth. All right, so I'll work on the tip here in a minute. Yeah, this is already flat and straight enough. Now I just have to work on the tip. And I will use the pressure flaker to set up the edge. Yeah, last night I was also updating a lot of my older videos so that they don't show the mid-roll ads. Mid-roll, M-I-D space R-O-L-L, mid-roll. I don't like the ads in the middle of the videos. So I had to go back. Apparently I got to go back to each video and make sure I eliminate the mid-roll on the ads. I got over 1,300 videos. I've already done the ad editing on about 400 of them. 300 or 400 have already got modified to prevent the mid-rolls, but I got a lot more to go. I got 1,000 more to go. But eventually, over a period of a week or so, I should be able to get it done. That way you guys don't see all the ads if you don't have YouTube Red or whatever it's called, Premium, YouTube Premium, I don't know. I don't know what it's called these days. Okay. Still going to use this percussion flaker. I do have a smaller one, but it's broken right now. I mean, the aluminum is fine, but the stick that was sticking in the end has broken off. That's how much force I've been using on it. Yeah, nice and smooth without crushing the edge. It's dicey though. I'm hitting this pretty hard. But the good thing about it is I'm using the mass of the workpiece against itself. I'm not trying to hold it still while I smash the edge. I'm using the weight of the workpiece against itself by striking fast. Fast means it's a hard strike, so I got to make sure the platform is not all that beefy. Because if I strike fast on a beefy platform, it ends up imparting a lot of energy into the workpiece and I could snap the whole thing. So actually, fast strikes require smaller platforms. They actually require a smaller platform so you don't impart too much force. You just want to send in those long flakes by using the mass of the workpiece against itself, so you don't have to hold it with a death grip really, really hard. You don't have to grip it really, really hard to keep it from moving. You know, the mass of the workpiece, the more you use the mass of the workpiece against itself, the less shock it has on your hand and on the workpiece. That's not good. Probably have some little pieces of stone embedded in the flaker, causes crushing. Yeah, okay. Use both hands that time, that way I can put some force onto it so it doesn't take forever. But yeah, I've got crushing because I think there was some stone embedded in the edge of or in the tip of the workpiece. I mean, tip of the flaker. I can't talk today. Yeah, there was stone embedded in the tip of the flaker, I think. Let's try this again. And then turn this and hits the next spot. Yeah, much better. Even though that didn't release all the way. Yeah, there we go. Abrade. Turn. A lot of times I turn without thinking about turning. I'm saying I'll do the turning and all that abrading stuff just by habit. You'll think I'm just adjusting this, but I'm also turning it. It's not just an adjustment as far as holding it. I'm actually turning it. Get a fresh spot on the flaker to do the next strike. Produces a much smoother, non-crushed area. In case you didn't know. Sometimes I get careless. I just keep using the same spot on here, but I need to be turning it quite frequently, just in case. Oh, I was on a good streak there for a little bit. Got another step right there. Okay. Yeah, I should have prepared the edge with a pressure flaker instead of the abrader or whatever I did there. I didn't do a very good job of creating a good edge. That flake should have traveled instead of stepping right there. It's good material. There's no reason for it to be so nasty. No reason for that nasty old step fracture. Yeah, see, the flakes will travel if I do it right. Yeah, although that edge right there, that particular spot, it's right at the transition. I have trouble with that on the transitions, yeah. All right. Transition from tip to body of the workpiece. And if there's any weirdness in the material at that spot, then I'm in double trouble. So yeah, a lot of time is spent in damage control, just getting rid of those step fractures, and smoothing out the surface. Let's see if I can get that to smooth out down the whole side. Let's see. This time I am using copper just to see how it works on the longer flakes. All right. Yep, okay. It's working. I don't want super long flakes. Don't need them. A lot of inward force on that one to try to power through that step fracture. It did a little bit of good. Same with this one. I need to push inward a lot. Yeah. This one also. So far, so good. The tip is kind of curved though. It's curving upward. But if I remove material from the convex side of the curve, it straightens it out. But I do have to lose a little bit off the tip. Just a little bit. Okay. I think I took off a 32nd of an inch right there. All right, so now let's see if I can straighten out that tip. And a little bit on the other side. There's a step fracture. See the step fracture there? I'm going to try to blow it away with some strategically placed pressure flakes at the end. Now that released too soon. Hold on. There it is. Even though I ground that down a lot, it still was too weak. Oops, I lost another 32nd of an inch off the tip. Those add up. That's a 16th so far. They add up quick and they change the whole profile. Even a 16th of an inch difference off the tip can make a big difference in the overall profile. These flakes are releasing too fast. I need to have some strength behind the platform, so I can drive those flakes and thin it down. If these flakes release too fast, they don't go very far. There it goes. There we go. Just needed to abrade a little bit more. All right, so I'm getting a little bit tired. I tend to do that, right? I'm tending to start napping way too late. I still need to get rid of that step fracture. Let's see if I can do something about that before I call it quits for tonight. Yeah, indirect percussion because I want a large flake without too much effort. That's not like that. Let's see. Not like that either. Come on. Yeah, it wasn't releasing with just a gentle tap, so I had to hit a lot harder. And now I see a lump. It's lumpy right there. Yep, yep. I don't know. There we go. Yeah, I need another one. I need another one in there. Okay. Not too much abrading. I can't get too aggressive with the abrading. Yeah, because that happens. And yeah, I can go back and make it weaker. I can go back and make the platform weaker by pressure flaking it or something, but it takes forever. This one is actually too weak. I'm gonna run a lump removal flake right there. Flattening flake somewhere there. Not like that. Come on. Yeah, I'm used to the steel. The steel is more aggressive than the aluminum. I gotta hit harder with the aluminum. But it's more gentle. It's an irony. Aluminum is more gentle on the edge, but it requires a lot harder hits. It's funny how that works. I still have the step fracture there. This one didn't travel. This flake didn't travel that much. I should have gone a little bit further. I can hit in between and do it in betweener, and maybe it'll run, but it's risky. I don't like risky all that much. Even though I take a lot of risks, I don't really like risks all that much. So what am I doing? Moving the edge closer to the obstacle and lowering it below center line a little bit. And cleaning up the edge to be 60 or 70 degrees without lumps. It's probably more like a 45 right now until I grind it. So right at the point of impact, the angle is steeper. It still goes in this way, but right where I grind it, the angle is steeper. Especially on small areas, the grinder affects the angle a lot more. The grinding affects the angle a lot more when it's a small area than if you're grinding on a big area. Grinding on a big area does not affect the angle of the striking surface all that much. I still don't like it. Maybe I can blow right through it. Nope. Head-on attack did not do it. Alright. Major repair now. So I'm going to take a pass in this direction first. And then a pass in the other direction. Yeah. And a pass in this direction. I do need a complete pass in this direction so that the edge stays straight. Instead of just focusing on this area right here for the strike, I could just focus on this area right here. You know, pushing down and making a bevel, essentially. That's what I've been doing with the pressure flaker the whole time I've been working right now on this particular biface. I've been beveling a little bit. Okay. Is that going to do it? Do I need indirect percussion to fix it? Yes. I don't need it, but I want to. That means I need it. Yep. There we go. Like it never existed. Like it was never even there. No, not that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at it. It's not supposed to do that. It's not supposed to do that either. What is wrong with this picture? What is wrong with you? Had you all set up for a nice pass, but you don't cooperate. Yeah. All right. I'm thinking about it too much. Thinking about it way too much. All right, one last try here. I don't know. Something weird about that area. It doesn't even want to pressure flake right. Yeah, it's all right. I can live with it. There's still lumps that I don't like, but yeah, doesn't matter. What matters to me is that it got too narrow. I don't care. I care more about the outline than I do the surface. If it gets too narrow, I don't like it. You know, unnecessarily narrow. I don't mind it getting narrow, but if it does it unnecessarily, it bugs me. Bugs. Yeah. Let's see. Is this going to be productive, this little line of attack? Where's my pad? It keeps rolling in different places. It's like a football. You think it's going to land straight, but it always bounces in a weird direction. Come on. There you go. I'm thinking, yeah, this material's real nice, and whoops, what happened there? And whoops, what happened there? I thought you were gonna be nice. Turn. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. I just had to get that one last one out of my system. Everywhere else, if I try hitting somewhere else, I'm gonna ruin it. I know it. Yeah. I want to hit one from the base somewhere in here. But that would ruin it. I would hear a little clink and the top half would snap right off. Yep. You don't want to hear the little clink when you hit the base. Yeah, so everything after this is just pressure. I don't care if it's a little thick. Now, let's see if it's stayed 6-1 or it's worse now. Let's see. 50 millimeters. Yeah. And let's see. Is it more than 5? Yeah, it's more than 5. It's like a 7. 7 millimeter. Actually, that's pretty good, right? It's like a 7-1. Yeah, 7 millimeter by 50. 7-1, so it got a little bit better. It was 6-1, right? It got better, it got down to 7-1. How long is it? Almost 4 inches. 3 15/16 or something. Probably looks bigger than that because my hand is so small. But there you go. That's it for tonight. Nice Georgetown piece. I just need to pressure flake it. And I'm not going to do it tonight because it's getting too late. Hope it showed up on this nice black background I got now. I need to get a pad that's black too. Yeah. Stain it with something. Ooh, I feel like a rock embedded in there. It is. Look at it. Let's see it. Where is it? It's a Flake. There it is. Nasty. Where else is there one? Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Can't have that. It's not so bad here. It's bad when it gets into the tooltips. There's little micro, tiny little flakes. This is already wearing here and wearing there, so I'm going to have to replace the leather. Okay, anyways, I can nap with this side too, or on that side, because this poplar is not really hard wood. It's nice and soft. See, I can mark it with my fingernail. That's how nice and soft it is. So in a pinch, I can nap on either side. Okay. There you go. I like it. I just need to pressure flake it. Maybe put some notches, but I won't because people like to buy this rather than a notched one. Oh yeah. Okay.